Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. J.J. Abrams gets us confused. Burnham gets absolute candor. Tilly gets promoted. And Ensign Harry Kim is rolling in his grave. In this post-Thanksgiving episode, we're cruising at warp 6.9. Find out what it sounds like to be a suck-up and learn why the Navarans are so grumpy.
I just don't know how these friggin' Tribbles get in here. I've done everything. Oh, wait, there's a light. Hey, welcome everybody for joining us for another Starfleet Underground. If you're joining us just after the holidays, I hope everyone is being safe. Everyone was safe and you've made it back. This is Captain Nathan Adams sitting here, was relaxing until I found the Tribbles somehow got into my coffee. I have no idea how they even got in here because I thought I had Tribble proofed it, but I was wrong.
It's a hot tub. It's a hot tub for Tribbles.
That explains the purring. They didn't even scream. They were purring.
They should be purring on hyperdrive because it's all that caffeine.
We'll find out if they're going to start going crazy by the end of our broadcast here. We got the whole crew with us. We didn't pick up any guests because everyone's away for the holidays, but we do have the crew. So introducing first off is our wonderful science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer on this ship and captain. The Tribbles are probably looking for more Thanksgiving food. They had a little too much yesterday and they sort of went crazy, and you'll probably notice some more Tribbles on the ship, and now they're looking for Thanksgiving leftovers.
Oh, well, that would explain some things.
Yeah.
I guess they wanted coffee to counteract the tryptophan from the turkey.
You always want coffee after you eat a good Thanksgiving dinner, so I think that's what it was.
They're beginning to develop distinct personalities now. Before, they were just balls of fur, but now they're beginning to have really good personalities. I actually saw one the other day heading to your room, Heather, with glasses on.
Is that where my glasses went?
I had no idea that they could do that.
I had to replicate a new pair of glasses because of that little stinker.
I didn't think they had eyes.
I saw 3 of them running around doing the Yakko Wacko and Dot song.
Seriously, I didn't realize that they could have eyes in any central location, but it had glasses on. And then when I went to talk to it, it sounded like Cousin It. I was like, what are you doing with her glasses? And it was like, it's like, what the hell?
I think that might be the smartest Tribble we have on the ship.
Well, the universal translator should have been able to tell you what that said.
I didn't have it on at the time.
Were you walking around in your pajamas again?
Yeah. When I was in the galley, I could have sworn I heard 2 of them in the corners like, what are we going to do today? What we try to do every day. We try to take over the ship.
We tried to take over the ship. It's definitely the ship.
The universe. Pinky, the universe.
I don't know, but we also have here, of course, our computer. Wait, did you do your intro?
No.
Heather, you didn't do your intro. You jumped right in.
No, I did. I did my intro. It's Patrick's turn.
Patrick?
You're not on your game today.
That's because my coffee was sucked up. Come on, man.
I'm Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm also the computer guy, and I'm the foreign species liaison. So how do you do? What's up?
Woohoo.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm going to blame it on the turkey dinner.
Okay, and then we can do the old Michael Jackson song, Blame It on the Sunshine, Blame It on the Moonlight. Good time. Blame it on the boogie. Okay.
Anyway.
Don't even get bored with me today. I don't have any coffee. Hey,
I'm bored with you every day.
Oh, hush. And we have our illustrious engineer.
Oh, God. My uniform. A little tighter than usual. The pies are really good, though. The pies were so good. But the uniform, I thought these things stretch.
What's your favorite pie?
Oh, my God. All of them. Man. course, a holiday pie, I like a pumpkin pie. And then the person next to me in the quarters next to me, they made me a lemon meringue pie just because they're being nice. And, you know, when your neighbor's nice and gives you a free pie, you got to take it. It was so good.
Yeah, watch out for razor blades when someone gives you a pie.
Dang, what kind of pies are you getting? Man, I don't trust your friends.
Back on Earth in the 70s, in the 70s and the 80s, in the 1970s and 80s, you had to watch out for apples with razor blades.
Yeah, but those are apples.
And that was for Halloween.
Well, if you got an apple pie from somebody, you never know.
I always thought that was an urban legend.
No.
That wasn't Halloween, though.
Halloween is close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they also poisoned Tylenol or something, too, at one point. But never happened modern day time. It was always a news story.
Yeah, it was way back in the day when people were a little bit more crazy.
When Nathan still looked young.
Besides, if they really wanted kids to bite into a razor blade, they would not put it in an apple.
Not these days, no. Back then, people were more healthier.
Dude, if I gave a kid an apple, he'd throw it at my place.
An apple a day keeps a teacher away.
It keeps me away.
Throw it at him.
Right.
Here, teacher, duck.
Bonk.
No, knowing kids today, they would suck off all the caramel and then throw the apple at you.
Kids today, they just run by Starbucks, pick up a coffee, and here you go, teacher. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Not even that, it'd be a gift card.
Exactly. A fucking gift card. I got so many of those damn things. I don't even drink coffee, people. They always give me gift cards.
Well, then send them my way.
You're the engineer. You should have it. And you already know I get coffee. Well, then again, I can understand you not giving me one because then that would be considered being a suck up. And Patrick is the only one that does the sucking. So we'll leave it on that.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know, more information than
I
you needed.
really thought his microphone was too quiet. Now I got to turn it down. My ears just got sucked.
Oh,
Hey, you asked for it.
The Tribbles all perked up and looked towards the audio.
That was TMI right there. I didn't want to know what that sounded like.
It's seriously.
Well, that's not actually what it sounds like, but
Yeah, but don't tell us. Don't tell us.
I was exaggerating for effect.
More muffled moaning involved, I think.
More of a rhythm.
Don't tell us. We're already getting into. Well, we don't have HR, so I can't even make you guys stop with that threat anymore. So wait. I think they actually heard anyway. They must like the show.
Oh, they actually work on the Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, great.
What kind of HR works on Thanksgiving weekend?
The evil kind.
Ours.
When it's sanctioned by Section 31.
Which, thank you for reminding me because I don't want them in here. This show is being brought to you by Section 31. So first, we're going to go with if there was any corrections.
I did not receive any subspace communications that I am aware of, but let me check one more time.
Did you mention an Andorian was played by a woman?
That was last week, yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Which Andorian? Because I don't think it was the one you thought it was.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but
Wasn't it the main guy?
I remember seeing the video.
The one with no antennas.
Rin. Rin was the name. Yeah. Rin was played apparently by the husband of Mary Wiseman.
Oh.
No, it was a woman. I
think you saw a stunt double or a B Andorian because I looked that one up and it was like, oh, really? Oh, well, they're family. We have to get that one right.
Well, that is just... Well, damn that YouTube video.
You know, they all look alike.
Uh-oh.
Except for the antenna thing.
Patrick, you got a bunch of Tribbles heading towards your room with bells, and it sounds like they're saying shamed. It sounds like they're going shamed. Because you got it wrong. So they're going shame.
I'm not going to be able to get that noise out of my head now.
So, and I'm sure anyone who's listening in their vehicles or anything else will not forgive you because you probably just popped their speakers. So please don't do that sound again because it's destroying our levels.
You're going to have a dubstep remix of that.
At least we had internal corrections, so that was good.
That's just odd.
Next is, well, so are you. Next is news. Heather, you got any news for us?
Aye, Captain. So my news is Horgan Basically, Horgan flashed the Star Trek salute during his cabinet swearing-in ceremony.
Oh, how cool.
A Horgan?
Horgan? I'm not sure.
You know the Horgan where you want to get Jamar on?
I want to say Hogan, but that's not right either. He is the premier of British Columbia, and he did his Vulcan salute, and it wasn't on purpose. He said it's just something he always does, and he wasn't thinking about it. And he has been seen going into work with a Star Trek pin on his shirt plenty of times as well.
Cool.
So
Yeah, it's John Horgan, Horgan. Horgan.
I said that.
She said that.
Yeah,
I was joking.
Not Horgan, which
I was making a Horgan joke.
Yeah, right. Which
Okay.
is,
Inappropriate. Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
But that is really cool.
Yeah, big up to Trekkies.
Woo woo. Trekkies ruling the world. Who rules the world? Trekkies.
Since you're in a singing mood, Patrick, you're next.
We already. Oh, no,
Your news, sir.
boy. I was for a minute there. I was like, I already introduced myself. Why are you telling me to do it again?
It's Thanksgiving. We're just blaming it on Thanksgiving. We're all off.
All that tryptophan. Okay. Even though I didn't have turkey. So my news is that Evan Evagoria, who plays Elnor on Star Trek Picard, has confirmed that season 2 will start production in January, and he wants to spar with Worf.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bum.
Oh, you got it even better. You got the right note there. Oh, good.
That would be a showdown I'd like to see, because
Yes.
That would be cool.
Elnor with his sword and Worf with his batleth. I mean, that would be a fight for the ages.
Yep.
Cage match, man. Cage match.
Evan also said he might wanted to see perhaps Ian McKellen make an appearance.
That would be cool.
If they did fight, wouldn't it be like a 20-year-old versus an 80-year-old?
Yeah, but 80-year-old Klingons you still don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
How old do Klingons, how long do they live for? How old do they get?
Longer than humans, I believe.
I mean, yeah,
So-
because they have so much more genitalia, so they live longer that way.
Two sticks in one.
So twice as long as one. Well, then, and any news you have there, Rocky?
Oh, my turn for news. Of course, the Black Friday sales are coming at me fast and fiercely, and they're almost over, but you can still do some Christmas shopping. Adoptatribble on Instagram, makers of fine things like Tribbles.
Adoptatribble?
I'm sorry, Adoptatribble.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you. I gotta get my eyes looked at. That is definitely a no. Adoptatribble on Instagram. They have a little store that they've got going. So if you click on them and get their links, they just announced that the Catnip Tribbles are in. So little tinier versions of Tribbles, perfectly sized for cats, and they have catnip.
Ooh.
And they have all kinds of other things. So if you want an actual full-size Tribble or a sticker, something like that, they are warning people that, Christmas holiday is a little, it's a little intense for them because they're not a giant company. They're a small organization. So they're warning Christmas might be tricky for some things, but I still got to plug them because the Tribbles are so fucking cute.
Aww.
So in that case,
Awesome.
if you want to help them out with the inventory, send them food. So this way they can replicate a bunch of more Tribbles as fast as possible.
Well, I don't know if we have any more Thanksgiving leftovers on this ship because I think our Tribbles ate them all.
I believe so. They're really getting intelligent. I'm beginning to worry. They're getting really more picking up personalities of everyone on board.
I swear to God, I am not experimenting on them. I am not doing tests on them at all. I swear.
Well,
It
they're
wasn't
really
me.
getting smart. So I have no idea what's going on with that. Well, in continuing with news today, we're going to go off of what Rocky had for good stuff. If you listen to our premiere on Monday, you can still get a chance to catch this sale. CBS All Access is giving a free month if you sign up and use the word turkey to redeem. The offer actually ends on Monday. So the same day you're hearing this, you better rush and get it if you want that free month or it's going to be gone. Also, if you go on Amazon, they still have a little bit of free stuff available. Star Trek novels were 89 cents each. They have a bunch of them, like The Captain's Oath, Millennium, The Fall of Technor, The Final Reflection, a whole bunch of good stuff on there. And if you decide you want to see all of the Star Trek 50th anniversary stuff, they have it. Normally, the price for this is like $98. They have it on there now for $71.33. So get on that before they end the sale. It's going to be continuing in on Monday. So that's my information for you today. Oh, last thing. Sorry, Section 31 just bugged me again here. Apparently, the Hero Within is offering a Section 31 jacket. They claim it is the perfect thing to keep you stylish and warm during your adventures across the galaxy. It's available for introductory fee of $55, normally is $69. Patrick, don't.
Ooh, sounds nice.
We are always cruising around. It's warp 6.9 for some reason.
Yeah. And every time you change that, I see him sneak into the room and adjust it. I don't know what's up with him on that.
I've configured the warp drive to just go to 6.9 automatically.
The ship has a nice peaceful vibration at warp 6.9.
Humans evolve some weird kinks.
Pretty much. So,
Good vibrations. Dun, 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 dun.
The Beach Boys.
So that looks like that's going to be our news today. So, of course, now we get into oh my God, what a friggin' episode.
My head exploded.
Yes, Captain. Reporting for duty, sir. This week, we watched Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 7, Unification 3. It first aired Thursday, November 26, 2020. If you guys can, this is number 3 in a series, so watch Unification 1 and 2, which is The Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 7 and 8, if possible. Now, this is the only trilogy of episodes in the Star Trek universe from all of the series.
Ooh.
I know, right? So the first one, teaser, Lost. After a year on her own, Michael struggles with being a part of Starfleet again. She's not sure she belongs. She likes this sexy, laid-back version of herself, and she's not looking forward to kickstarting the overachieving, energizer, messiah side of herself. But no time for that. They analyzed the information from the black box and verified that the explosions happened at different times, leading to the most common phrase in scientific history. That's interesting. I wonder why that happened. I need more info. To the Admiral. Unfortunately, he doesn't have this information, but he knows who does. The Vulcans on the planet Navarre. Oh yeah, and they're no longer a part of the Federation. Say what?
It was definitely an interesting beginning of the whole thing. I mean, it just gives almost no indication of what a ride we're going to go through this whole episode. First off, you find out Vulcan is there, and it's like, wait a minute. If that's planet Vulcan, that means they kind of dismissed the J.J. Abrams universe because Vulcan was destroyed. They didn't say it was New Vulcan. They said it was Vulcan. So there's that.
Well, the Prime Universe is in the Kelvin universe. Yeah, you're going to get your head hurt if you start thinking about that. So I think it's your typical Prime Universe Vulcan, except for 1,000 years in the future, they decided to do a name change. And oh, by the way, not with the Federation anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Romulans came back. So that was the big thread for unification was Spock brought the Romulans back.
Sprocket brought the Romulans
he helped
back.
bring the Romulans back.
And if you remember, all of that happened during the Next Generation, which that part of the Next Generation happened supposedly after the fact that Nero came back and destroyed Vulcan.
I thought that happened after that.
It did? Wait, now how did Kirk then has a whole thing with Nero?
I still think it's all in the Kelvin universe.
Are you guys talking about when Spock passed away?
No.
Okay.
No, we're talking about when Spock gets onto the TNG episode for Unification for parts 1 and 2.
Right.
That happened with Picard. In the movies in the JJ verse, Kirk was still running around on the Enterprise, and they came and destroyed Vulcan. So,
but that's in the Kelvin universe.
Yeah, but that happened when Spock actually went back into time.
But Spock went back in time later.
Yeah, but he went back in time, and when
this is why J.J. Abrams fucked some shit up. I'm okay with the lens flare action shots, but come on, J.J., you really messed some stuff up for our simple little minds over here.
This is why people don't like J.J. Abrams.
Okay, let's not. Well, go ahead, Heather.
Okay, so, well, we're speaking about Navarre. So do you guys know where Navarre originally came from? It's been mentioned before previously. Do you guys know where?
It was the name of a ship, wasn't it?
Yep, you are absolutely correct. It was the name of a Vulcan starship in Enterprise, Shadows of P'Jem. And Navarre was a term coined circa 1967 by Dorothy Jones, and it literally means to form. And it was an art form practiced on Vulcans in which they had like two different viewpoints and two different aspects or two different natures.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the duality of the Romulan Vulcan thing. Yeah,
Right. So it's the
That's
Vulcans and the
pretty cool.
Romulans coming together.
Well, that makes sense that you would rename Vulcan to Navarre if they've come back together. You know.
It definitely makes total sense. It
Yeah.
was nice to see them pick up that thread because the way Unification Part 2 ended, you never find out whether or not if he did what he said he was going to do. So that was good.
Yeah.
Well, both Michael and Spock are overachievers, so you had to figure that he probably got it done.
Chronic overachievers.
Chronic overachievers.
it
man.
runs in that family for some reason.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. And if you guys watch The Ready Room where they're talking about all this, Michael, or the actress, talks about Michael Burnham and the crew of Discovery and how, being flown into the future, everybody is now trying to figure out like who they are because they don't have any family ties. They don't have any social connections. Everything that made them what they were, they left 1,000 years in the future. And now they're in this new place at this new time. And it's like they need to find themselves again. And you see all the different characters doing that, Detmer, Michael, like everybody is doing that.
Well, a lot of times in today's culture, people associate their worth and who they are with what job they do,
True.
what kind of car they drive, where they live, how many material possessions they have, that whole kind of thing. So when you've, jumped 930 years in the future, all those things are left behind. So you have to figure, well, who am I stripped bare? Who am I without all these things that I used to use to define who I was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have a home now. It's not like, when we get on leave, I can go to my apartment or I can go to my house and it's got my stuff. Your stuff has been dust and gone for over 1,000 years.
And same with your family, like no grandchildren, no nothing.
You have to try to find all of that. I mean, can you imagine heading back and let's say your place is still there and you got a descendants of whoever and they said you owe us 1,000 years worth of rent.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow, man. Man, way to really bring it down.
Oh, my God.
You are a killjoy.
Well, I mean, if you think about inflation, it shouldn't be too bad to pay off, right?
Yeah, seriously. So, but think about it. Well, okay, to put on a happy note, you get into your apartment because you get over 1,000 years rent, but now you got stuff in there that's in mint condition that's 1,000 years old and you can sell it on the market.
It would not be in mint condition.
That's only if your apartment had been hermetically sealed.
Yeah, it would not be in mint condition.
All my regular junk would be not worth that much in the first place.
No, I'm talking like you got like figures, you got figurines, you got like
it would be like selling
memorabilia.
CDs on eBay, like
Yeah, but
1 cent
somebody will
here,
want it.
2 cents here. Somewhere else.
Yeah, somebody would want
You're
it.
like selling cassettes on eBay.
You saw how that guy got a chubby when Giorgio showed him the working tricorder. So you could imagine it's like just need batteries.
They're not an Andorian. Oh, what the green guy? What is he again?
Orion.
Orion.
I don't know why I could not think of what he was. It was like right there on the tip of my tongue. But I mean, do we know? Do Orions get chubbies, or do they have more? Are they like Klingons? Do they have more than one penis?
I task you to find that out.
That is a cool assignment.
Mission, should you choose to accept it.
I am so jealous.
I want to report.
Find out about the Orion Chubbies.
So next week, if you see me and I've got a big green ring around my face, you'll know what it is.
Well, you'll basically be accepting the same assignments Kirk used to accept.
There you go.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
There you go.
Now, did you guys notice that one of the black boxes that Burnham recovered was called USS Yeltchen?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeltchen, yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, it's a huge tribute to the actor Anton Yeltchen, who played Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot.
If you want to talk about things that were good in the JJ universe,
That was one.
Chekhov was really good in the JJ universe.
Yeah,
And it's a horrible
unfortunate.
Yeah,
loss.
he was. was.
Yeah.
All the actors who played those characters, I mean, they really nailed them. I mean, but like Chekhov and Bones especially, and then Spock especially, they all really, the actors really nailed those characters. That was the one really good thing about the reboot.
It brought that happy feeling of Star Trek. If you grew up watching the original show, it really felt like the characters.
It brought those Orion Chubbies.
It brought Ryan Chubby.
Do you guys remember when he passed away?
Yeah.
Yes. A horrible accident. Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah.
And the next year at Star Trek Vegas, there was a big wall poster that everyone signed for his family. It was really moving.
I remember that.
It was sad. And they said that if they did another movie, they would not recast him. They would come up with a line that he's off somewhere else doing something else, which I thought was, respect.
He's on Rise. I haven't, getting a chubby.
So, but he did do a great job. He really did. And it's a shame that we had such a bright talent was cut so early.
Authorization, Victor.
Well done, sir.
Okay, and speaking of cut early, let's cut this part and go to the next section.
Aye, sir. Act 1, Reunited. The Vulcans think the Starfleet forced them to cause the burn, and that's the reason why they left the Federation. But Spock's sister is the perfect representative to reopen communications. Michael goes back to her quarters to watch an old episode of The Next Generation, and Book notices a strange family resemblance, as they are both over chronic achievers. Discovery jumps to Navarre, where their first response is an automatic no. Michael invokes an ancient Vulcan ritual in which they cannot refuse. So in response, they give her a lost cause advocate. Nothing subtle there. But as luck would have it, the volunteer is Michael's mother. They are finally reunited. And by the way, during all of this, Saru asked Tilly to be his number one, even though she is an ensign. Oh my God, this is causing Harry Kim to roll over in his grave.
You can generate a warp drive with the force of Harry Kim's rolling over in his grave.
Right.
It's a black. He's creating a black hole with all the.
You did not see the table with the little console when he said that in engineering. And he says, I want you to be my number one. For a second, you saw Harry Kim's face pop up and goes, oh, come on.
Yep.
Poor Harry.
But it was really to see. First off, this entire episode wasn't exactly full of action, but it was edge of my seat watching. Mm-hmm. I leaned forward and it was the storyline and the acting and the dialogue was so engaging.
The drama of it all, yeah.
Yeah, to see Spock there, first off, like that, it really was like, it tugged your heartstring and brought back good memories and everything else. And the way that Michael's face was, you could see like her brother with like a mixture of awe, pride, and sadness. And I don't think that's not easy to carry off, to have all of those emotions on your face all at once. And then also to have Book look at her with almost the same sense of kind of a pride. She
could have had Book all over her face.
That was last night.
That was the early scene. And I was surprised they were getting it on and they weren't in a turbo lift. What's up with that?
Well, they got their own private penthouse on the hangar.
It's crazy.
Why would you stay in your room? You get a whole friggin' ship to go hang out in.
That's more like an RV in a garage.
Yeah, if Book ships a rockin',
don't come a knocking.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys recognize the footage from The Next Generation Unification?
Yep.
Yeah. It was it was like I knew that was the show that was like Unification, because everyone on Twitter was buzzing about it. It was like
Unification 2.
This is part 3 of it. This is like, oh my God. And like Unification, wasn't that the one with Spock and the Romulans? Yeah. And I wasn't expecting the footage to come up, and then boom, there it was. And it's like, oh, friggin' Discovery and their tributes.
Your little Trekkie heart just explodes with,
It was a nice way, like you said, Rocky, it was a nice way to give a nod to Leonard Nimoy for his role as Spock. I mean, to have something that Spock was a part of to show that it actually bore fruit was really good.
and the ideas of it. He was talking about, do you choose to live with something or do you choose to change it? And the theme of that is deep in this episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you choose the old ways or do you look to do something different and new and interesting?
Yeah, I think Michael always tries to do, although she often gets in trouble for what she does because she doesn't, follow the chain of command, she's always trying to do what the right thing is and trying to change and to grow and to develop.
That one part where Saru said, I assume you are prepared. And Michael is like, of course. The look she gives after that is freaking hilarious because it's like a kid who was asked if he has his homework. And he's like, yes, of course I have my homework. And then he turns around and then he goes and does his homework like during roll call. Of course I'm prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
That was interesting because, Michael Burnham thinks she's ready. She's like, I know it to the core that I'm ready. This is what we've got to do. And she's so engrossed into this, she doesn't realize the position she just put herself in.
Well, she doesn't see her blind spots.
And even her mother shows up. What an amazing appearance for her mother to be in.
Mind blowing.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But even she shows up and says, hey, you kind of, you don't know what's coming at you. You're going into this really, really blind. And
well, she does go into things blind. She thinks she knows. That's part of her, like her martyr hero complex is like although she may have the best intentions, she'll just go head on in without thinking because she thinks she knows what's best, even though she doesn't have all the facts.
Yeah. And especially being thrown 1,000 years in the future, even though she's been in this a whole year now. She's the one that should have more experience than anybody. And she still has a huge blind spot.
And you could see that the Vulcan president could see that because she even went up to her and was like, be honest, especially with yourself.
Yeah. It comes down to something I used to tell my guys before we used to go to any mission. It's like always make sure you never underestimate your opponent and overestimate yourself. And she does that.
Yeah.
And luck will be with you for so long. Everyone knows luck is a whore. She'll sleep with anybody and you can never tell when she decides to leave you and go to the other side.
Yeah, and when she does, it's not good.
Is that why you sleep with anybody?
I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. That's awesome.
Oh, you don't know that luck's a whore?
I don't know that one. That's awesome.
Luck is a whore. I thought you would know about that.
Especially in Vegas. I mean, come on.
Especially in Vegas. Oh, I love
You
that.
never know. You never know. You never know.
You know what? It's funny because a lot of times you can't see either your own faults or your own growth until someone else points it out, which is indicated by when Saru asked Tilly to be his number one. Like he sees in her this tremendous growth and change and the ability to, to lead. And she's just like, are you doing this because I'm compliant? She doesn't.
Was a good question.
Yeah, it was really good that she came up with that question too. She realizes the position she is actually in. And she's like, hold on a second. Are you, is it because I am this good or is it because I follow orders? And is this what you're looking for?
Do you want a yes man?
But Saru is like, no, it's the best interest of the ship. And we know that Tilly would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You can see the look on her face, and hats off to her as an actress as well, because you could see that the gravity of that decision really weighed on her.
Completely.
And she had to go talk to her only other best friend, which was Stamets, in the cone of silence.
Oh, goodness.
And I wanted to smack him. Oh my! Because his immediate response was like,
I think that's the next part.
It's the next part. Should we wait?
No, yes,
okay,
let's
we'll
wait.
Okay.
Thanks, Nathan, for jumping ahead.
So
getting me all riled up.
When the Vulcans, when they appear on the ship and you see the three Vulcans and Saru's like, thank you for being here. They are not freaking happy to be there. And I'm thinking, you just interrupted them. You forced them to spend their day in court. Of course they're not going to be happy. One of them was probably jerking off. Boundaries, people.
Goodness.
Quick correction. They weren't all Vulcans. One was a Romulan, one was a Vulcan, one was a Romulan.
Navarans.
Sorry. Navarans.
Oh my God, how racist.
Boy, were they happy to be there.
Oh God.
That's so racist. You're saying they all look alike. Come on.
I can't see. I'm blind. People all look alike.
Okay. Well, I'll give you that because the Tribble had your glasses. So let's go ahead on that.
I just thought it was nice that they actually beamed into the transporter room as opposed to popping into some corridor or someplace.
Yeah.
That was nice. They used that set for an actual, what it was designed for.
It's like the front door.
I guess it was formality.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because they beamed into the transporter room. But at the end, the president double taps a comm badge. And I'm like, wait a minute.
But you know what?
Hold on.
But you know what? It probably was formality.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a formal setting, you should have a formal location to come in and rather just like willy-nilly all over the friggin' ship.
Yeah.
Like, shit, you did not just want to transport into the shower room. You didn't want to see all that.
Exactly. They're like, I didn't know it was there.
Did you guys see Janet Reno's log on Instagram?
No.
Oh my God.
So
let me scroll back to my notes. She had a post where she talked about, of course, she made a point about her talking to the computer in the room by herself, but the pattern, she had to put pattern buffers in around all the freshers in the ship. And thanks, Linus. Now the freshers is what they're calling toilets. I don't know if you can pick that up. There's a couple times they've referred to it as a fresher. And so she's got pattern buffers around the whole ship. Thanks, Linus. Because Linus was popping in where he should have been popping in.
That's funny.
And she also mentioned the other big thing they haven't talked about on the show yet, but she mentioned holodecks are cool. They upgraded with a holodeck somewhere on the ship.
Have we seen that yet?
No,
not yet.
We've only seen the communication systems, but like an actual physical holodeck they can go to, that we have not seen that. So this is like new tech for them.
But the bidet has definitely been upgraded to a fresher, which means it spritz instead of sprays. Got it.
A technicality. I don't think she went into that detail.
Maybe it just beams the poop right off your butthole.
I like that one better.
Why do we go down this road?
Okay. I thought it was hilarious, and that Linus was causing stuff behind the scenes that we thought he was. Anyway, where were we? So the Vulcans are beaming in and out like at the inappropriate moments.
Or the Tikal and Ket.
Yeah.
Well, I think again it has something to do with more of the fact that this was something that was ritualistic, because even Burnham's mother came through the transporter pad.
Yeah.
So I think for stuff like that, they have to turn around and says, okay, if this is a formality, we got to make sure we come in where we're a central location on the ship.
And can we say hello to the nod to Picard with the Qowat Milat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what if her mother transported into the garage while they were doing their little sexy time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the whole absolute candor thing, Patrick. You're right.
Qowat Milat, man.
And I thought it was a great use of that, the absolute candor and the Qowat Milat, and bringing Burnham's mom to come in and say it like it is, because that's what they do. I just love that that's how they brought her back in. It was so cool.
The Shakal and Kai, the advocate.
Oh, yeah. Tikal and Ket is what I got.
No, Tikal and Ket is the ceremony.
Oh, yes, that's right. And
the mother was the Shakal and Kai.
The advocate, yes.
Yes. Or in Vulcan, it's the Shasset.
Everyone got this written down, taking notes?
Yeah.
The subtitles help so much.
I enjoy also the look of pride on her mother's face when she saw her and Michael, and that little reunion was really kind of cool. And her mother, though, just like a regular mother, and you add the fact that she's got absolute candor, wasn't letting her daughter wiggle out of shit. She's like, are you sure? Are you this? And it's like, wow.
She had years to make up for.
Well, and she immediately tells Michael, she's like, you look lost. Like she knows immediately that Michael is struggling with something.
So let's just move on to the next one, should we?
We're basically there.
Is that in the next one?
Yeah, because we're talking about it.
My only other note was a sound effect note that I love. Every time they're on the bridge and they hear that little whistle sound, that little bing sound, they just drop it in at just the right moment and pause between dialogue. Just kind of. So when the line on this one, she says she was talking with the president, and Burnham says Spock would find it all fascinating. And then went bing, a little whistle sound effect. I just love that they pop that sucker in there once in a while. It's like every time they go onto the bridge, you're going to hear that sound effect, and it's strategically placed.
And so this is where our engineer gets his chubby.
Yeah.
His Orion chubby.
Now that I mentioned it, it's next time you do it, you're going to hear it and go, oh, there's that sound effect. You watch.
Chubby.
Now you're going to get me. Like when I hear that, I'm going to think of Rocky. So thank you so much.
And his chubby.
And get a chubby.
Well, that's rather big of you.
Okay. No, it's actually big of you.
So, how do you feel about hundreds of people watching this and thinking about your chubby?
Whoa.
Awesome responsibility.
That becomes a shrinky then.
Awesome responsibility.
Wield it carefully.
With both hands?
No, just the right hand's good.
I am right-handed. So anyway, let's go on to Act 2, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Act 2, trial. Michael has a little one-on-one time with her mother, and that comes back to bite her in the ass. The trial starts as each side banters back and forth. As the debate gets heated, Michael's mom requests a recess. She needs to give her daughter some motherly advice, which Michael totally ignores. They go in for round 2, and when Michael's mom sees her drowning, she goes in for the save by attacking her. Did not see that one coming.
Fucking absolute candor.
Absolute.
Right?
It works all directions.
Absolutely.
Because the look on Michael's face when her mother just like basically threw her under the bus, which was cool. She's like, "You're not telling the truth." And she's like, "Mom?"
There were so many looks. So many looks. I love watching Sonequa because you never know what look she's going to give somebody when she reacts to something. And it's always honest and genuine and surprising. It's great.
Oh my God. She is such an amazing actress. And I'm so glad they picked her. Like, she is so amazing.
Yeah, I love seeing her do different things and have different reactions to stuff because it's not just, the first season Burnham had so many things to react to, but it's so much more nuance and different variations now with this season. It's great.
Well, I like the fact that this episode is very reminiscent of the TNG episode when Q makes Kirk defend humanity.
No,
it's got that feel to it that, that's what it felt like to me. It was very, very, very Star Trek for me.
Yeah, Burnham's coming at it from the science point of view. It's like, look, we've got science. Let's fix and finish the science. You guys are Vulcans. You liked science at one point. Let's do the science. And they're like, oh no. This is not about science. You guys are Starfleet, and we don't need to trust Starfleet anymore. You're coming at us with from that. But I mean, yeah, sure, you were kind of the sister to Spock, but hang on a sec. We don't want to tell you nothing about the burn.
I was going to say the president was talking when she was talking to Saru about part of the reason for the burn was the scarcity of dilithium caused by the size of that the Federation, became. Mm-hmm. And the Federation, in order to serve the many, neglected the few.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was really an interesting point of information.
They're really upset over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time when they were talking and Saru is saying all of that to the Vulcan president, it sort of reminded me of a new hire talking about a company versus an employee who's been there for like decades and decades. Because the new hire is like, this is the best job ever and they're great and this is wonderful and this is so cool. And then if you talk to someone who's been there for years who knows the company, they're like, dude, we work in a shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really came to that. And I think what helped save them is a combination of a couple of things. Saru is still firmly rooted in the tenets of Starfleet. And it's like when he was talking to the president, you saw, even though she's a Vulcan and she didn't show much on the emotion side, it resonated with her. She's like, this is Starfleet that we read about, that it was from that long ago.
Well, she senses the genuosity of what he's saying, if that's the word, the genuineness of what he's telling her.
Yeah. And he's really, sincere in that. And Michael is sincere during that questioning. And you can see that the Vulcans and the Romulans really did make up their minds even before they got there. But she was a curiosity. This is Spock's sister. Mm-hmm. We want to see who Spock's sister is. And the one guy who's supposed to be pure logic, he was an ass.
Total douche.
He was.
Really was. It's like, dude, seriously,
His bidet wasn't working before he came on the ship.
Well, obviously, he was
full of it. He was full of it.
No, it was working, but somebody adjusted the pressure too high.
Maybe that's when they teleported him in, when he was using it.
It's like, I was busy.
That's why he was cranky.
That would be upsetting, wouldn't it? That's like a bad timing right there.
Right.
Like right in the middle of letting one go, and you're like, beep. You're on someone else's ship. Like, wait a minute, squeeze those butt cheeks together.
You had a chance though to see how the grip that they all had on each other to be unified was tenuous, because
I saw the grip he had on the ship.
There was a lot of friction involved between these people, considering
his grip was tenuous at best.
They surprised him. He wasn't expecting that, so he just let it all out at once.
Note to HR, I tried.
But you can tell by the demeanor of the three council members. The purest Vulcan is completely logical, no emotion whatsoever. The Romulan's feisty and goes against everything that the Vulcan says. But the Romulo Vulcan is like in the middle there, trying to be a little of both, and you can see where that's a problem.
Yeah.
The discussion, you saw she was getting through, at least to the Romulan side of it, because they're more on emotion.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was watching this and I wasn't thinking that this is a Romulan Vulcan. There's different ones there, but you're right. I mean, when I go back and think about it, and I was the guy on the left was the Romulan guy, right?
Yep, the one who was bald.
Yeah, so I just thought he was a regular Vulcan, but he was the guy with the open mind. But I didn't even think that he would be the Romulan guy.
Well, he's the one that started shit because everyone else is like, no. And he's like, yeah, I'm sharing my stuff and screw you. And, we're going to blow all this up. It's like, oh, yeah, I could see the Romulan in him.
The irony of all this is they've been together and they're on Navarre, and they're not living as a smiling, happy race of two, beings or two peoples. There is friction. There's always been a friction, and they're getting on each other's nerves, and they beam them all up, and you can still see that they're not like hunky-dory and happy all the time. They're on each other's nerves still.
Isn't that the perfect representation for Thanksgiving that's happened on Thanksgiving, and you're getting all of these people that don't agree with each other together and forcing them in one room?
It's like bringing up Trump at the dinner table. You just don't want to do it.
Don't go there.
I thought it was hilarious. It's like, oh no, we've prepared a room to do the
calling cat.
Thank you. Yes, I scrolled past it on my notes already, so I can't go back. Yeah, told a cat, and he's like, oh, they put a whole new room together. This is awesome. They've got a whole new set. No, it's the multi-purpose room. It's the cafeteria. they don't know it's the cafeteria, but you look at that set and like, that's just the cafeteria set.
They just moved all of the tables out and they closed the replicators. Don't show the replicators.
Yeah, it's like somebody's ordering a soda in the background.
Yeah, can you imagine? You get Linus comes in. It's like grilled cheesecake.
Linus is like, I thought this was the mess room. Is my transporter working?
Yeah, that's no wonder Linus is confused.
Well, it was the mess room because the Vulcan was messing in the middle of it.
I just thought that was like, oh, okay. Oh no, they just bring in their harp and their magic torches, and now it's the chamber of Tol Duquette.
Maybe all the Starfleet officers we saw sitting there like originally came in for the mess room, and they're like, oh shit, now we're stuck.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, they got an audience. Like, no, that was lunch.
Yeah, that was supposed to be lunch.
But I think the most valuable lesson, however, that her mother told her is, remember, you're arguing not just for them, but for your audience.
Well, yeah, and that you're representing Starfleet. And even Burnham at the beginning of it all was questioning, should I be the right person to be representing Starfleet right now? And even though she's been in the universe a whole year, Starfleet is definitely, I don't think she's that familiar with what's going on with Starfleet. And I think the Navarrans, do not trust Starfleet worth a damn. Especially after, being a Star Trek fan and watching through Picard, Starfleet is not a trustworthy organization in our heads right now.
And you see multiple people do that. It's not just like one person. It's like this planet, that planet, this planet, these people. It's like, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah, something is rotten in Denmark, as they say.
Or in Navarre.
So we're learning that, we've all grown up with the Starfleet we think is ideal. And Saru is definitely representing a pure Starfleet, which is wonderful. But Burnham has to represent this Starfleet and come at it from that point of view. But the Vulcans are like, no, we even did this experiment with them to try to solve their fucked up dilithium problem. And we were going to try to figure that out. And we ended up blowing up everything. It's our fault because they pushed us to do it. Now you want us to come back and help you out with this problem of the burn? No, we don't want to do this.
It's like, I get proof that it wasn't you guys' fault. And they're like, fuck you. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't even care anymore. It's like, fuck you guys. We don't want to mess with
Yeah.
you. Go away.
I wonder. I'm getting the feeling that Starfleet had something to do with the burn, though.
It's possible.
We shall see.
It's possible. The one thing I do like is that this is a payoff that may happen way down the road, that they actually had viable technology to allow starships to jump from one location to the other without the use of dilithium, which is something I guess they found a way that doesn't use the mushroom network. So that's a possibility.
Well, it looked like from their little diagram that it was probably a wormhole or something.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then we could see the future of the Federation being back with everybody and recommitting to worlds if they can get this technology now that they found that it wasn't responsible. But that's going to be a while because they still weren't willing to, at this point where we're talking about it, they're not willing to share the information. So like you can see Michael's frustrated and everything else.
And in this section this is where I was trying to go before, but when Tilly comes to Stamets and tells him that, she's been asked to be first officer, I really wanted to smack him because his reaction was like, wait a minute, what? You being my boss?
This is deeply, deeply weird.
The look on his face, yeah.
I was like, how fucking rude are you?
He really was.
I'm like, you got to think about it, though. Put yourself in his shoes. I mean, you're running stuff. You're the big man on campus, and you got this lackey over here that just got promoted above you. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I mean, the look on his face is like, wait a minute, I have to take orders from you? That would be weird.
And when he looks her up and down,
The attitude was just so bad. I mean, Stamets can be rude. I think that was him actually being polite about it all.
Yeah, probably.
But he was like, what?
He really could have handled that better. It really kind of bothered me the way his reaction. It was kind of like, there's no way I'm going to take, orders from you.
I love that they're in the chamber in the middle of the whole room. I'm like, do they have a speaker system on that sucker? Did they leave it on because someone else is coming in and asking a question about, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Tell Detmer to chill out, It's just like, did they just hear that conversation? Because that would be really embarrassing. They go into a freaking, the conference room has no walls. It's all glass. I mean, come on.
Maybe she did hear it. And that's why they got all the people together and they all said yes. And that I know I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my own thing. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But maybe that's why it's because she heard it. Like it wasn't Stamets. We all think it was Stamets and it wasn't Stamets. It was.
I think it was shocking to him, but I bet it was Stamets that gathered everyone together.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's the kind of guy that would, he has an emotional reaction and it's ugly, but he'll think about it for a little bit and he turns his head around and says, hey, you know what? Because we've seen this side of Stamets, he's got multiple sides. And when we see him talking about, meeting Adira and talking about Gray and helping Adira do her thing, he can be a supportive guy.
Yeah.
He just got to wrap his little head around it.
Because when he first met Adira, he was like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
Well, Stamets, in my opinion, is the future version of Sidney Sheldon from Big Bang. He's no subterfuge. He can't hide what he's thinking.
Sidney Sheldon is an author.
What?
Sidney Sheldon is an author. You mean Sheldon Cooper?
Sheldon Cooper.
That's why it sounded weird.
Exactly. Well, he's like Sheldon. Weird. Okay. Well, he's like Sheldon Cooper. Come on, Tribble drank my coffee.
Good
but the fact
Lord
is
already.
that you can't play cards with somebody like that because they're going to tell you what's in their hand by their whole body language because they can't. He's just brutally honest the way he is.
Isn't that the perfect person you want to play poker with?
Right.
Well,
this is true.
Yeah.
Because you always know what he's got.
Stamets is the definition of absolute candor. I mean, I really think it's built into Stamets.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that, what he's thinking and feeling in his mind just comes right out of his face.
Yep. There's no filter. It comes right out.
Well, it's better than coming out his butt.
Why with all the butt stuff today? Oh my God.
If you redub some of the scenes and drop fart sound effects in, that's always funny.
I love that.
Somebody's going to do it.
Somebody's going to do it. It's only a matter of time. But if you want to, beat them to it, that would be hilarious.
BM to it? What?
I'm in pain.
Are you looking at yourself in the mirror again?
Oh, here we go. All right. Excuse me 1 second. Computer, invalidate all of Patrick Hall's galley privileges for the next 24 hours. Okay, thank you. Okay.
If I'm the computer guy, I can override your commands. Hello.
I think it's my fault. I gave him coffee this morning, so that might be why he's acting this way.
The Tribbles drank it.
Mushrooms in the Tribbles
Seriously.
in the coffee.
Is there anything else in this section before we move on?
I think we covered them pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of drama getting set up in this section.
Although I do like the one last thing was when Gabrielle was talking to Michael and she's like, based on what you're telling them, you cannot be trusted. Mm. So she's like, Michael, you think you're being honest, but you're not giving them the whole truth.
Yeah.
So
she
you
can't
cannot
see the
be
whole
trusted.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in one point of view and she needs the paradigm shift to figure out what everyone else is saying that she can't.
Mm-hmm. She cannot.
Act 3, Absolute Candor. Michael shoots back with a verbal rebound as they get into an oral sparring match. Michael's mom pushes her to acknowledge the truth, requesting absolute candor from her. Michael is able to convince one of the council members. However, this divide sparks serious civil unrest. Michael withdraws her request in order to avoid a civil war. She'll look for new information in other ways, and she'll share what she finds with the Vulcans.
The part in this that I really enjoyed, and it's jumping a little bit ahead, but where Gabrielle comes to Michael and says that duty and joy go hand in hand. Duty is so that you can continue to pursue your happiness, and joy is so that you have something real to fight for. I really, really loved that line.
Well, it also is a huge point for Burnham because she's lost and she needs to get pointed in the right direction. I think that is exactly what, I mean, it gives her a purpose. It's like
she needs to find her joy.
You need to find your joy. And you know what you like to do? You like to take care of shit. And you exactly in the right place where you're supposed to be.
Plus, it's
we'll just call her Burnham Jesus.
It's one of those things too, is when you say it out loud, when you debate with someone, when you actually like try to, figure it out, when you debate, that actually brings you closer to your truth and everything. So that's what her mother was trying to do. She was trying to push her and she was trying to make her think about why, And
be truthful and honest. I love the absolute candor stuff. It really applies personally to Burnham right here. It's a really good way to go.
Well, because you see Gabrielle, going after Michael, with all these things like I wasn't a good mother, she's trying to fill an emotional void. You're like, what is she doing? Like, she's tearing her kid down.
Yeah, right in front of
this quorum. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is she attacking Michael like this? But there was a point behind it. It wasn't just, I'm going to be the evil mother and, try and hurt you in front of these people and make you look stupid. It's trying to, get you to see where you really are.
Yeah. And honestly, because of the candor, the stakes are higher for her. I mean, she's saying everything's different and she's afraid that she's doing it wrong and she doesn't want to destroy the people that she loves and lose everything after all of this.
And the president told her too that if she fails to convince the quorum,
it will have repercussions. That
Spock's sister came to them as a dissembler.
So Michael's mom is basically trying to push her to say what she needs to say in front of these people.
And only a mother knows how to push her daughter. Yep.
And she says that the quorum's not the only audience.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you got to impress the president as well as the quorum.
Well, she didn't say that particularly, but that's what she meant.
She didn't say that, but that's what she was inferring.
Yeah. Just to see all this coming together right in front of the Vulcans and Romulans, and all of a sudden they had a division. It was becoming very apparent that the Vulcans and Romulans don't really get that well along with each other. And just on this one issue, it seemed like they were about ready to go fist fight for their attitudes. I mean, they were like, well, I will give them I think she should get the information. They're like, no, and we don't want to do it. And there's that big divide. And the absolute candor was not helping their situation. It was certainly helping Burnham. But Burnham stuck around and said, well, I think maybe I should just withdraw my request.
But the part that when Michael finally told the truth, because first after she got over the shock of what she thought her mother was betraying her, she had to turn around and goes, I don't know what I'm basically doing. I did this. I was out here for a long. I don't feel like I'm home. I don't feel like I'm this. And for her to come down, it's like, if this is going to wind up destroying what my brother represented, then I don't need it that bad. I'll find another way. And I think when she did that, that made all the Vulcans go like, what the fuck?
Well,
really?
For me, that was like, I was kind of torn with that when she withdrew her request and walked out. I was like, okay, is this her actually realizing that what she's doing could, contribute to more, chaos and strife within Navarre? Or is this a calculated
no, I don't think
turn of events where she's like, okay, I'm gonna withdraw so that they'll think that I really don't want it anymore, and then they'll give it to me, kind of thing.
No, I think
so.
No.
Because you have all this absolute candor going on. I mean, it's all about the honesty and truthfulness of the whole situation. Burnham's like, this ain't worth it.
I just must be cynical because that's what occurred to me.
Plus, like we see in the next act where she's on her bed and she looks sad, like she looks seriously depressed. I think you could tell right there that she wasn't doing it on purpose.
It was just something that occurred to me that it could be either way.
No, I don't think it was with her.
No. This is a section of the show that really felt like good old Star Trek, where they do the unexpected thing for the right reason. That just blew me away. It was like, that was a big moment. It's like, I'm withdrawing this is like the most important thing to me right now. And I don't want to know now because it's going to definitely have repercussions.
Yeah. And it's just not worth it.
In my opinion, before, Michael was willing to do anything, no matter what, to get her what she wanted.
Her way. Yeah.
And she changes.
And that finally realized that some things are just too high of a cost. To plunge this world into civil war for me to get this information.
This is not worth it.
Yeah.
No, I just can't.
And then she ends up getting it anyway.
But it shows that sometimes you do get things you want without having to go out your way and to sabotage and do things against other people. You never know. And for her and her mother basically knew what was most important. And that's why her mother told her, it's like, you need to be yourself. And she finally was really herself. And I think that was cool. Was that the end result of that is the next section, or we're still on this section?
Yeah, you want to go to the next section?
Did we leave anything out on this one?
I think we got it.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, sir. Act 4. Yes. So Tilly finds the entire bridge crew waiting for her in the science lab, and they all know about her promotion. Well,
that was touching.
That was. Is it okay if she is promoted above everyone else who has a higher rank than her? Yes. Her Starfleet family is so happy for her. And Michael's mom joins Michael after the trial, and she is so proud of her too. Michael's truthful confession convinced the president to secretly hand over the information so they can keep searching.
That was pretty cool. I mean, first off, when Tilly goes into the room on that section and Stannis was there at the engineering, and everyone's there at the forefront, and they all tell her that, yeah, we have faith in you. Yes, yes. Yes, and the look on her face.
The support. Oh, man.
And then the icing on the cake is when Michael came in and she goes, did I miss the part where everyone says yes?
That was great.
Yeah, I like that.
The look on Tilly's face when she realized her bestie is even okay with it. It's like,
that was the feels.
That was cool.
Yeah, there were lots of feels.
But they still share a same room. What the hell? The number one doesn't get their own room?
No.
I don't know. Maybe they'll fix that.
She knows she's not going to share a room because Michael's going to be bumping books with Book all the time. So she's going to barely be in there.
She got her own room.
Well, remember, Tilly's going to swap her bed over towards the window now. So.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, that was funny.
It's like, no, that's happening. Yeah.
So Michael's temporary residence is the RV in the garage.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So,
but yeah, that was a big moment.
Cool.
That was of this whole episode. There's a lot of big emotional moments in this, especially if you're a longtime Trekkie. And seeing Spock actually didn't get me as I thought it would. And it's like, oh wow, that Spock is up there, and that's like the image of Nimoy and saying these wonderful words, and like that's awesome. It didn't get me in tears. What got me in tears was the rest of the crew saying, yes, Tilly, we love you, we support you, lead us, and Burnham saying, you're not, Burnham's not leaving. It's like, Burnham's like, yeah, I can't make this easier. You lead me. It's such a beautiful moment for me to see Tilly get that kind of support. And she's not expecting it. And it just blindsides her with happiness,
Well, again, like I was saying earlier, sometimes we can't see the progress we've made, that it takes someone else outside of us to see what we've done or how we've changed. And so she doesn't quite see her value yet, but everyone else does.
Yeah.
On the next episode, we're going to see the ghost of Harry Kim haunt her.
You bitch! That would be hilarious.
He's going to be a spectral hanging over her bed. You bitch! I hate you!
She'll be totally oblivious.
7 years on this show and I'm the one that said.
She'll be totally oblivious to it too, and you're just like, dang, Ensign Ken is pissed.
I would like to think that the people who do this show listen to us, because we did talk about how Tilly's on her way to becoming a captain.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by it. And people are talking about it. It was like they were dropping hints. It's like, Tilly is first officer? Come on, you know what? She's pretty good. And we were like, yeah, she's pretty good. But I'm like, yeah, she's good, but she doesn't have the experience. She needs there's got to be somebody else on the crew that has more experience at commanding.
Discovery's on being broadcast on network channel on CBS right now. And Thursday night, I watched the episode where Tilly and Michael first meet. And Tilly's like, something you don't know about me, but I'm going to be a captain one day. So she's like, she's got that in her. That's in her mindset.
And I know, I know that's a core to her character, that somehow this girl's going to become the woman that leads. I love it, but I'm not expecting it this quickly. And I'm actually a little surprised that Saru says, I think, Tilly, you're the one I need to help me run the ship. And I think it's very cool. I'm not against it. I'm just a little surprised by it.
The thing is that when it comes to ability of somebody having experience and in someone who can lead and inspire are two different traits. You can have somebody like, for instance, in computers, or you well know Rocky in engineering, who's a great engineer, but you can't stick him in front of a customer.
Well, yeah, there are people that are natural leaders. I mean, they are. I mean, that's a huge factor in things, because you want somebody that people will follow and respect and listen. And you want somebody that will listen to you and respect and act upon your suggestions as well. And Tilly is perfect for this.
And something
that's why I'm the face of the USS Navras and not Nathan.
Well, you need to hush. So then you also have on there as well is that he said something that was really important. He trusts her to make the right decision regarding Starfleet.
Yes.
And that's also important, where he can't trust Michael to do that. So you got a whole bunch of combination for those things. And there's some people that just don't want command, period, because it's a headache.
Right. I would be one of those. Yeah.
So it was really good. But then also we have where, like you brought up earlier, that Michael's sitting on the side of her bed and she's like dejected. She's like, I fucked all this up. I didn't get the information I wanted. I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then her mother comes in and mom's like, hey, remember I told you that you have more than just, you have the audience listening to you? It's like, what? Bam!
Well, look at what I got here.
It's a mini CD.
Yeah.
With all the info on it. And it's like, yeah. And then the talk between Saru and the president.
That was good.
It's like, yeah, I'd like to talk to you again later on. It's like the dialogue is open.
That was the first time we saw Saru giving the Vulcan hand salute.
That felt like a moment too. Yeah. I was like, oh, awesome. And then she just double tapped out, boom, gun.
I was waiting for
She stole someone's comm badge, man.
It's like, Saru, you're supposed to study. Don't you know when she says live long and prosper, you're supposed to respond with peace and long life?
Obviously, he do not know.
Nope. He didn't say anything.
No, he was like...
Well, she kind of tapped out before he had a chance to, really, too. I mean, she was like, peace out, bitch.
But I wonder now, with this happening this way, is this going to cause problems later on? Because first, the Admiral looks like he's trusted, right? But what happened if they go back with all that information and he's going to decide to jumpstart the tech again to allow Starfleet vessels to wormhole everywhere? And if he does that, that's going to piss off Vulcan, because they didn't want them to restart the research.
I think Admiral Vance is going to be, I think he's going to hold true to Starfleet and the fact that Michael was a representative of the Federation, and she, gave her word that it wouldn't be used other than for scientific research purposes.
Ooh, I'm going to go on the opposite of that. I'm going to say that he ends up being the bad guy.
Well, I think there are more moving parts than we're seeing, because you got the Orion Syndicate going on.
And you got the dude that looked like from Blade Runner, the Section Section 31.
Section 31 stuff. Yeah. There are things going on we don't see. And there are reasons Starfleet is not loved like we loved Starfleet back in the day. So, yeah, I think things are happening that we don't see.
Oh, yeah. Vance could be showing Saru only what he wants Saru to see. You know, there's a reason why people don't like Starfleet.
And it is also, to top it off, the actor they picked to play him. I mean, when he's a great actor.
When he's good, he's good. But when he's bad,
he's bad. He's bad.
My God. Yeah.
So you really, so he could flip either way. And so,
very interesting stuff to happen.
I bet. So my prediction is at the end of this season, we are going to find out that Starfleet is the bad guy. That's my prediction.
It's going to be interesting that they're going to do that. And then Discovery is going to be on its own again.
Whose crystal balls are you looking into?
No, not yours, because yours aren't crystal. They're too damn hairy.
Actually, wait. I just watched a Netflix TV show where there's a character called Crystal Ball. So when you say that, I'm thinking I'm looking at that character's balls. Like that was the first image that popped in my head.
Okay, you guys are just disgusting. I love you.
All right, now that we have me thoroughly having to go to Starfleet headquarters to HR again, we're going to wind up tying it up before we go ahead.
One last thing was with the last scene with Michael and Book on the ship, and Book's like, "You're going to stay, huh?" And she's like, "I belong here," and he's like, "You feel like home." She's
So
like,
do you.
"So do you."
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, my heart.
Yeah, that got me. I was still a little teary from the other scene, and it was like, oh gosh, these two.
That means Book is going to have to get used to wearing a tight uniform because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's going to have to park his ship or trade it in for a shuttlecraft or something, because that thing takes up a lot of the shuttle bay.
If you looked at the next week's preview, he says, "I want in." He's joining Starfleet. That's what I took from that.
I'm looking forward to Grudge, having a comm badge and going meow meow, and then tap it.
Double tap out.
And remember what I said. Remember what I said about Giorgio and the fact that her little episodes are caused by the distance between her.
Something's going on with that too.
Her universe and this universe. You see that in the preview for the next week's episode where her face goes all warpy, and I'm like,
that was weird.
Totally,
Scientifically speaking,
yes.
It's the distance between her universe and this universe that's causing her to go out of phase, I think.
I love the little teaser scene we got when you watch the Ready Room, where it's her and the doc, and the doctor's like, "I'm here to help you," and she's like, her typical Terran self. I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the best little line for that teaser when she's like, if this was another universe, I would have had all your children poisoned.
Right.
And he's like, if this was a new universe, I would have children.
Exactly. It's like, hello, lady, you're not looking at reality right here. I don't even have children.
and the fact that he died and came back, I think gives the doctor a unique set of courage that he hadn't displayed before then.
Oh yeah, especially when dealing with her. Yeah,
his balls are not crystal.
Yeah. So he's got he's a perfect example of what I have to say when you hear somebody mention an iron fist in a velvet glove. Mm-hmm. He's got a core of iron that's in him, but he's still his demeanor and everything else. But he's just unbending. It just.
I do like him as a doctor on a starship. I do like him.
Yeah, very much so.
Woo woo.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was another wonderful episode. We've given a lot for our engineer to handle. And just to let you know, there's going to be stuff you're not going to hear that he's expertly removed. So you're going to be scratching your head wondering.
That doesn't happen.
Like Nathan's gas.
This is exactly how it goes down. Yeah.
Oh, wait, edit that out real quick.
My ears.
Oh man! Hey, you guys want to talk about the guest appearances we did make or we're about to make? Because when they drop them,
yes.
That was a lot of fun.
On Nerd Trek.
Yeah. I'm gonna say you guys talk about it. I was just there for fun because I didn't have to edit anything.
Yeah. When is that premiering, or has it premiered?
They're gonna drop us some notes on Twitter and we'll promote it out. But go listen to the Nerd Trek podcast and we make an appearance with those guys, and we had had a lot of fun.
We did indeed.
It actually was. It was very enjoyable. So you guys make sure we're actually expanding. We're a guest on another ship. Imagine
and it was all of us at the same time too, which was kind of funny. It was like we didn't just like one person show up. It was like all of us were there.
All of us.
Yeah,
that was really fun.
And Rocky came because he didn't have to engineer anything.
It was awesome.
And he came because he didn't have to engineer anything.
When that goes live, we'll have a link to it on our website in our promotional part of our website.
We'll make it official when it all goes down.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thank you, everybody, for listening to us. And don't forget, if you're here for the premiere, thank you so much. And if you're listening to us past the premiere, still,
what's
thank
this
you
premiere
so much
thing that
again.
you keep talking about?
We premiere on Monday, usually anywhere between 9, sometimes 8, sometimes 10. It all depends upon when the feed finally downloads to Earth.
Premiere indicates it's the first episode.
It depends on when the Tribbles wake me up in the morning.
So the
and how fast
is
our computer's working and if YouTube's
right.
behaving.
And if it works.
Yeah. On Heather's YouTube channel, we've got a link to that in the show notes. That's what Monday mornings we go premiere. So if you subscribe to that, you'll get a notification, get ready, and usually it'll go.
And you'll see a countdown.
Yeah.
If you want to find it, usually if you search YouTube, Heather Ferris Star Trek, you'll see my channel come up. If you want the actual channel name, I think I remember it's like QTSY16, maybe something like that.
That sounds like about right. It's in the show notes, so just look those up and you can probably click the link from there.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and send Patrick to medical because something's definitely going wrong with his throat or his anus or something from all those noises that are there. So everyone, please go get your specials that you had for Amazon and as well as all the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you don't just have a great week, but make it so.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.